Welcome to I Love My HBCU ? The podcast where we express our undeniable love for HBCUs, but where we are also not afraid to address a few tough questions. So, sit back, learn a little, love a lot, and rep your HBCU.
Hello, good people. It's another episode, another reason to love your HBCU. So, Toni Herring, let's get to it.
Right.
So, Toni's joining me from Alabama A&M University, and I'm going to start right at the top with that question.
Okay.
Rate your university from 1 to 10.
Okay, so honestly, I think with working with the departments, I'm going to give it a 9 out of 10.
I love it. Okay. Next question that I'm always going to ask whenever I hear these ratings. I need you to give me a deeper reason. Like give us a comprehensive reason why they get to have a 9.
Okay, so definitely, of course, we are the most illustrious campus here. Out of all the HBCUs, I gotta say, but when I think about my time here, I'm a junior. I definitely think I've had a great experience. I think even working with, like I said, I work with the marketing department. And so being able to see what goes on in the background, I can't have too much like complaining because I understand why things move the way it
Absolutely.
moves. So I definitely give them a 9 out of 10 because I see the try, I see the effort, and they're making something great here.
I love that. So I really love that. I don't just love that. I really love that. But let me tell you what it is that I love, right? I think if all of us knew how the sauce was made, that's what I call you getting to work with the marketing department and seeing how things get done, we would be just a little bit kinder. We may still have the complaints, don't get me wrong, but we may just be a little kinder in the manner in which we express those complaints. And then I also think our intentions behind the complaints or behind, I don't want to call them complaints. Can we just call them critiques? Because critiques are a good thing. I think our intention behind the critiques would be a little bit different. So I love the fact that because everyone that gives their school a rating of a 10 or an 11, because we had somebody from Morehouse give their school a rating of an 11. Sure. Anyone that gives their school that, kudos to you. I'm not going to take anything away from that. But the question mark, and I love my HBCU question mark, is because we actually want to see the best out of each one of our HBCUs.
Yeah.
And Toni, if I wrote a paper for you and you gave me 100, I'm going to want to know why I got that 100 points. And if I did not get 100 and I got 50, for example, I'm going to want to know how I could do better in the future. So anyway, thank you for the rating and the honest rating, but also the reason behind the rating. Toni, tell us about you. You are actually, so anyone that's hearing noise in the background, she's actually on her campus and they're setting up something in the background for events. I love that life that is going on behind you. Tell us what it's like being a junior marketing major at Alabama A&M. It is A&M. I was about to say Alabama State, Alabama A&M University.
A&M, thank you.
A&M.
Yes. So being here, I'm a junior marketing major. I'm from Sacramento, California. So it's a big jump from, the west side to the south. And just being here at the HBCU has been a blessing. I enjoy meeting the people, the experiences, the network opportunity, just the social life. Just being in the South in general, seeing all of the scenery, all of the nature. It's so open, and it's just been one of my favorite things about coming over here.
Have you heard about I'm going to get this wrong. But I can explain it well.
Okay, don't worry.
So Charles Blow, who is, I think it is now former New York Times columnist, celebrated journalist, also an HBCU alum from Grambling State University. He was one of our guests on the podcast, which is exciting to me. He wrote a book recently, and if one of the producers can just whisper in my ear the name of the book so I don't get it wrong, I'd really appreciate it. But he is advocating that more of us from the North, especially, migrate south. You're coming from, I'm going to call it Northwest and not
Yeah.
just West California, right? And you are in the South. What benefit do you think there is to more Black people? So when he was referring to that Southern migration, he is talking about educated Black people, upward mobility Black people moving to the South. What are your thoughts on that?
So honestly, so great. I was just talking about this earlier. I think that it benefits us a lot because one, it helps you to be thankful for where you grew up. Because one of the things I discussed was that a lot of people who grow up in the South, they aren't able to see how diverse this world is. And
Hmm.
I grew up with there is this high school that I went to, Sheldon High School. Shout out them. We went to it was very diverse, and so you would see African Americans, Mexicans, Asians, Latinos. It's everybody, and so it was just like it was a good mix to be around everybody and to kind of adapt into different cultures and understand them more. And so I think with us coming out to the South, you get to appreciate more of your heritage and where you come
Mm.
from. And so I know that I've taken a lot more curiosity and more interest in just getting to know who I am as a Black woman, and just how seeing how, I guess I don't want to say it differs from when I was in the West and coming out to here, because there's still it's still a cultural adjustment because I don't have an accent. I more people say I talk too proper sometimes. And with things like that, I just feel like coming out to the South, it just gives you more of an appreciation for everything that you've learned here. Get more appreciation when you are here. I tell a lot of people are more hospitable here in the South, and I love it. It is so nice to see everybody kind of just have one big community, and
Mm.
that's just one thing I think us people in the Northwest could take some advice and take heed from, because I don't think they're as hospitable and as much as the community. I think we're more I guess more about ourselves and kind of our family, our just like our own thing. But here everyone's kind of like a big family, and I like that.
I love it. I love it. And so hearing you say that reminds me of what I hear a lot of people say about HBCUs and the community building that occurs when you come to an HBCU. The reason you've given, for example, as a benefit of being in the South, as somebody who was not raised there, is almost a larger sense of that community building that you
Yeah,
find at HBCUs.
definitely. I agree 100%.
Okay, all right. So I want to shift gears ever so slightly
Okay,
and throw the rapid fire segment at you. Are you
okay.
ready?
I am.
Those who are not watching are missing out on Toni's massive smile. She's just got like a beautiful big smile whenever she smiles. Okay, Toni, describe yourself in 3 words.
Okay. Unapologetic, silly, and what's another? Mellow.
I would not have given you silly. I love that. I would not have given you silly. You are at your college graduation, and we've got about another year to go for
Hmm.
you. Toni, who would you wish was your commencement speaker?
Oh, dang, I actually really thought about that. I would actually want Steveland Wonder, actually. I would want him to do it.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow.
I would. Thinking
That's a
about it.
first. That's a
Yeah.
first. That's a first. I'm coming back to that. I want to know the why,
Okay.
but it's still rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
What's your unpopular opinion about HBCUs?
Oh, you don't have to dress nice to go to an HBCU.
There you go. There you
Don't
go.
have to dress
Shout
nice.
out your favorite professor, person, admin, whoever on campus. Who's that person? What do they do?
I'm gonna shout. I have two. Dr. Richardson. He is one of our marketing. He's one of the marketing teachers, and Dr. Cooper. Oh, three, and Dr. Jones in my philosophy. I love all of them. they just bring out a lot of conversation and about real life stuff. A lot of times people are so catered on the curriculum, they're focused on the real life and preparing us, and so for the real world. And so shout out them.
I love it. I love that you gave three. It's an unfair question to ask for one, but I love that you gave three. So
Yeah.
I've been told that my time is up, but I'm still going to ask one more question.
Okay.
What's your best meal at your HBCU?
I'm a picky eater, so they made a shrimp alfredo once with the dinner rolls. Oh my gosh, that was pretty good. That was,
Once.
yeah. Well, I would
You
say
are clearly a picky eater.
I don't go to the calf too often, so they could have
Okay.
made it again, but I've only seen it one time, and it
Once.
was really good.
Can I just say thank you for not saying fried chicken Wednesdays? Because
Oh,
I hear that all the time. All the
nah,
time. So thanks for not saying that.
of
Okay.
course.
You when I asked you to describe yourself and you gave the three words, you said silly. So the first time I met you, do you remember what I said?
I kept well, you said a few things. I know I kept freezing and like a
No, no,
pose.
no.
Oh, not that one.
No, that's not
Oh,
what
the
it was.
serious. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. I said, when Toni is not smiling, she literally gives that energy of, I wish you would. Like, I literally wish you would. And then she smiles and she becomes that person that you know you want to be friends with. That's what I said to you.
Hmm.
Give me the silliest thing that you've done. I want to hear something that's absolutely silly that you've done. Because when I see you, I don't see silly. So I'm curious. What's the silliest thing you've done?
Um. Uh. I don't know. I guess I could say. I like to sing in operatic. So I sing, but I like to be like, oh, operatic and operatically or something. And it's just funny, little silly moments with
Do
myself.
you,
But
do you, so my mom has this thing sometimes that she and I do where
mhm.
I don't have a good singing voice at all. But sometimes when we are talking to each other and responding in an answer, we will respond in and break
With the
out
song,
into yes.
oh yeah,
Is
definitely. It's like if I hear someone say like, let's just say someone said, I don't even know. If someone said a word though, and I could register it to a song, I'm probably gonna start singing the song.
singing
And
that
I'm
song
like,
like in conversation, like in the
oh yeah,
conversation. I love it. I love it. I'm hoping that happens during this conversation at some
ah,
point in time. So if you feel the energy to do so, Toni, you have my permission. Please do,
okay.
because I love it. I absolutely love it. Steve Wonder, that's the first. Tell me why.
Ah,
Yeah, just talk. I'm not even going to say tell me why. I'm
okay.
curious to know what that energy is that would have you want him to be your commencement speaker. I want to hear it.
Okay, so my dad, he's always put us on to him growing up. That was pretty much like one of the only artists I can vividly say I remember listening to growing up. And a lot of his music, it's funky, hippie, um, depending on the type of depending on the type of song he's producing. But I think a lot of the messages that come from his songs have a lot of meaning. And I don't know. I guess I just feel like he would make a very he would have an impact on our commencement speech. That's what it's called.
Yes,
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes.
I think he would leave an impact for sure with whatever he said. He's been through a lot of stuff, and for him to be blind, I definitely I think that he's endured a lot and still has continued to see the good out of life. So I think he would help us know how to usher through the real world for sure.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I asked this question. I hope presidents as well as whatever the teams are at each of the institutions that hear who
Hmm.
their students would like as their commencement speakers actually tune in and invite them,
Yeah,
because
definitely.
we end up, I know what goes behind the scenes in getting a commencement speaker, and it's not the easiest thing in the world. I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I also know that a lot of universities would actually rather get the persons that you would want. So I hope they're hearing. Toni wants Steve Wonder. If she could wave a magic wand, she wants Steve Wonder as her commencement speaker next year. That would be amazing. Okay. You are from Sacramento, California.
I am.
How did you hear about Alabama A&M University? And we all know, I think Alabama A&M and North Carolina either tie in having the largest numbers of HBCUs in their states. It's either tie or you top North Carolina. I'm not 100% sure.
Mm-hmm.
You could have picked any. You picked Alabama A&M. I want to hear your college selection journey.
Okay, so I am a believer in Jesus Christ, so I definitely think that it was God's doing for me to get to Alabama A&M. I really
Okay.
actually hadn't considered it at all. My first choice was actually Morgan State,
Oh,
and I went.
wow.
Yeah, I wanted to go to Morgan State. Heard a lot of good things about them, and I would wanted to do that. But anyways, as I was going through my selection process, I wasn't getting into the schools that I wanted to back home, or like I wasn't getting into the schools that I wanted to back home, and then some of the other HBCUs that I applied to, like Clark, Spelman, Morgan, and then I did apply to A&M. They just weren't offering. We were trying to go debt free, and so we weren't. They weren't
Absolutely.
offering a lot of
Absolutely.
scholarship money. They were offering loans, and so that definitely wasn't something me and my mother were trying to deal with. And so I found Alabama A&M through a fellow alum. She's also a family friend, Sarah Lynn Cobbs. Shout out her. She went there, and she was always recruiting. She's like, y'all have to go to Alabama A&M. You guys have to try it out. It'd be a blessing for you to enjoy it. I had a good time. And so my senior year, I found out, I actually found out I got in pretty late. I found out pretty late that I got into Alabama A&M. But when I found out I got in, I found out that I had my great aunt and uncle who also live out here. And they were like, oh, yeah, she just needs to come out here because she'll be able to have a place to stay. We can even
Yeah.
provide her with transportation, like with a car. And so on top of that, then A&M offered some scholarship money, and so it was just like I just felt like God was kind of inching me to go to this direction because it just seemed like it would seem like an easier way to step out on my own, but still have some family support. I also had a god sister who lived out here for a little bit, and so it was just like you wouldn't be too far away from home and not, you know what I'm saying. And so my my selection ended up being Alabama A&M, and I found that they had a marketing major, and so I was like, let's go ahead and go with them. And I had never set foot, I never did a campus tour or anything, and so we had our freshman orientation. That was the first time I went, and I was like, oh, this campus is not that bad. And so I was like, okay, I think I'll be fine out here, and so that is how I got here.
I love it. So some people are going to know why I'm asking this question. I'm not going to tell you yet. I'll see if you'll guess. You said Morgan State University was your top choice. Why?
Looking back, I really don't know. I don't.
Okay.
I I don't know. I was. Um, I know they had a marketing program, and I know
A
that
very
was one
good
of the
one.
put. I That might have been the reason. I think it was for the major. However, like I said, we're going where the money resides. So so we really wanted to make sure that I was able to still get the opportunity that I needed with the marketing, but still be able to have less of a financial burden. And so because being out of state was going to be more expensive with that, and so we knew with me going out, we needed to have some security with the scholarship,
Absolutely.
and so yeah, it was probably the marketing department though for Morgan
Nice.
State.
Nice. Just curious. Just
No
curious.
worries.
Just like no worries. So what does Alabama, so clearly you've stayed and it looks as if you'll be staying all 4 years, which is beautiful, which also means they got something really, really right for you.
Yeah.
So what is the thing that Alabama A&M has gotten so right for you? I hear the
I'm
music.
so sorry.
Don't apologize. You're on a
Okay,
college
no.
campus.
So honestly, I think one of the things that Alabama A&M has done right for me is the people that I've met, and even the faculty. Um, yeah, the people in the faculty, I would definitely say that's what A&M did right, because our slogan, I pray this is called a slogan. It's start here, go anywhere, but it's our mantra or whatever. It's called start here, go anywhere, and with the people that I've met here, it's allowed me to go to like work with the marketing department, allowed me to find a church home out here, allowed me to join different things. And so I definitely think because of the people here at A&M just being so welcoming, even with the faculty, being able to talk to us a little bit more about the real world stuff, having just general conversation with us, treating us not just like a teacher student type of vibe, just being a peer. And so I think that's definitely been something that's been keeping me here.
You've mentioned twice now that there are a number of professors, Dr. Richardson being one of them, who do such an amazing job with teaching you about the real world. Because let's keep it real, college is a beautiful cocoon where you get to ignore what's going on out there for a little bit, but you're going to be joining it very soon. I'm curious to know what you plan on doing, and if you don't have concrete, that's fine, but even more so than that, I am curious to know what is it that they have been instilling in those conversations about how to prepare for the real world.
Okay, so I'm going to talk about Dr. Jones. She's my social theory philosophy class, my teacher. And so, with that, I love that she advocates for all things Black. She wants to make sure that you really have an understanding of what it's going to be like being a Black person outside of college. And so,
Yeah.
one of the things she does a really good job of just making sure that we stay on top of current events. And so whenever we get to class, she's always asking us, what are the current events going on? How does this affect us? How does that impact us? And I think doing stuff like that, I didn't really I didn't really care too much for going into the class. And I had her, this is my first year, so first year taking her. And so with her instilling that idea in my head, it was just like, there's really is a lot that goes on in this world that we should pay more attention to, and that a lot of us we don't. I know I didn't too much, just because I was kind of just focused on what's going on around me. But the
Hmm.
world, with stuff that goes around the world, she's just like, you have to pay attention to these kind of things. And so I definitely think her having us do current events and then just talking about, let me think, having like just like relationship conversations with like family, friends, how that's gonna look in the real world, how you have to put effort into it. I think just conversations like that, I don't know, it helps me grow as a person, and just even when I get out to the real world.
So you said something that piqued my interest. There's always a group of students who there's always a group of college students who are going to be perfectly okay not involving themselves in some of the social issues that you've mentioned, that Dr.
Hmm.
Jones brings into the classroom. And then there are going to be some that when they hear it, it triggers something for them to be a little bit more involved. Which camp are you in?
I'm definitely, I feel myself being more the what is it called, the more involved side, just because I I don't want to get too frustrated with, I know with the world it can get frustrating, so I know sometimes I might want to revert back to that side, but it's like change has to happen, and so I'd like to be a part of that change rather than kind of sit on the sidelines.
So you'll see the setup for the question that I'm about to ask
Okay.
you now. You are the next generation of all the things, the next generation of doctors, leaders, business owners, you name it, it's you. And so I happen to be one of those that appreciates those of you who decide that we're not going to just ignore the social issues, even though they are going to be frustrating.
Hmm.
What what, if any, of the issues that are going on in the world bothers you the most right now as a young person?
Okay, our lack of faith. Our lack of faith really, it bothers me. As I said, I am a believer in Jesus Christ.
Hmm.
And I'd be wrong if I don't mention him at all. And so I think our lack of faith, just how we carry ourselves, I think we don't always believe that we can do something, or we don't believe something is going to change. And I feel like, I don't know, but our lack of faith is not there. And I think if we had a little bit more faith in ourselves, in God, I think that we'd be more trusting for the process, and we'd be more susceptible to taking a risk in everything. And I feel like we're very stagnant as a generation, and so I think with faith that would eliminate a lot of the stagnancy that happens.
So I'm going to ask you to take it there, Toni. And, and the reason why I want you to take it there, I can almost feel you holding back. I want you to take it there. And what I mean when I say I want you to take it there, you said the issue that bothers you the most is the lack of faith. And as you can imagine, anyone that's going to hear this, some are going to be believers, some are going to be non-believers. And I want you to connect the dots with regards to why it is necessary to have faith in something, because it seems as if that's a big one for you. Why would you, Toni Herring, say, whether you're a believer or a non-believer, I would want you to have more faith in what, and what does that look like? I'm just curious.
um, so I feel like we have to have more faith, and you want me to say the what? Or you ask?
Absolutely.
Oh,
I,
okay,
if
okay.
you wait, pause, if you feel comfortable
Oh
saying
no,
it,
I
I
am.
you are, there we go.
Oh,
So
definitely.
I want to hear your unabridged, unbridled, this is my opinion, this is what I think, this is not up for debate with anybody else because this is how I have formed my opinions. What, when you mention that faith is a social, the lack of faith is a social issue that bothers you, what would you want people to have faith in? What does that look like?
Yes. Okay. So I believe that people need to have more faith in God, and trust what He has planned for this life. I know a lot of people, no one wants to hear, oh, just trust God. But it's just like, what happens when you do trust Him? I've experienced it for myself when I've just allowed Him, when I've trusted Him to come out here. Shoot, now I'm about to be 4 years here, and I've enjoyed it. And that's only because I've been trusting Him with the process. I think a lot of people, I think with our generation, society, whatever you want to go with, I think we have a lack of faith because we don't have something to trust. We don't have something to put our trust in. I think we try to find it ourselves. But God's right here. He's our foundation. I definitely think that if we would put our trust in that, and then allow Him to move us the way that He wants Him to move, the way He wants to move us, I definitely think that would bring us to a better life, a better outlook of life, because the circumstances aren't going to change. Like, I'll just be that person. Like, Trump's president, we already know that's not going to change. But the fact that he is president now for the second time, clearly God has something that He needs to position our hearts a different way. And I think a lot of people took it negatively. And it still sucks that he's our president, but like, God is bigger than Trump. And I think that because He's bigger than that, that's something we should kind of keep our mind focused on. Yes, we should still be practical and still know how to maneuver through this world, but trust what the Word of God says. And that's just, that's me. I know a lot of people don't take heed to that, but I definitely encourage you guys to all get into your word. That's something that will help you kind of navigate life, but still continue with the practical stuff. But there has to be a balance between the two. So
I'm hearing two things from you, Toni, and I appreciate that. And I appreciate
yes,
you for
ma'am.
just going there with yourself, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm hearing two things, and correct me if I'm wrong. The first thing I'm hearing is that you would like to see people have their faith anchor them. Is that accurate?
Yes, that's a great way to put it. Yes,
Okay.
great way to put that.
You are not the first person to give the example of Trump and faith,
Hmm.
in the sense that if this man won for the second time, God must have had a plan that we are not particularly, in tune with, that allowed
Yeah.
it to happen. I'm not going to ask you to play God because nobody can.
Yeah.
But can you take a wild guess? Like guess with me for 2 seconds. Why do you think we needed to go through this
Well, I
a
think
second
because
time?
you mean like you said, I'm not God, but I think that one of the points I talked about is that we're stagnant, and I think with
You
Trump
did say that.
with this year, with this election, with the way that Trump is moving, he's like doing a lot of stuff that is pricking people, and I feel like there's going to be a point where we're like, all right, enough's enough, we have to change, something has to give, and I think that's starting our heart posture. And so I think it's almost like, how much more, I don't know, but it's like, how much more, I guess, can we sit and allow these things to happen? Can we actually do more as a community to
Hmm.
do something? I think that it's really a heart posture, a reflection of who we are, because I think that we continue to allow things to kind of just happen. And I mean, now granted, I know we're not in the office, so we don't have too much say, but it's just like, imagine if we all got together and we really made an effort to change some of the things that he's doing. I don't know how all the politics stuff work, but you know what, I just feel like it could shift something for sure.
Tony, thank you. I know this is not the easiest conversation to have
No,
when
it's fine.
it's fine,
Oh
beautiful,
yeah, yeah,
lovely,
it's good.
lovely, lovely, lovely. Some people don't like having this conversation that we're having,
Mhm.
because it's asking you to almost look in the mirror, because you
Yeah.
said that if you were to take a wild guess, even though none of us can play God, you
Mhm.
said that if you were to take a wild guess, you wonder whether or not it wasn't him being in office a second time wasn't to challenge our stagnancy with regards to the way we respond to certain things.
Mhm.
Hearing you say that will always be my reason why I believe in the next generation. Um, the next generation, and I think a lot of us forget that we were once the next generation,
Yeah.
and we wanted things done a little bit differently. And for several people who lost hope when 47 wasn't got into office again,
Mhm.
and were really despondent because he got into office again and imagined all of the ill that was going to occur. I'm hoping they will also remember literally what you just said. Maybe it was time to do things a little bit differently.
Yeah.
And your generation, my hope, my prayer, you are a saving grace, just FYI. Um, my hope, my prayer is you will do things differently than the rest of us have done it. And it does not have to be in alignment with the manner in which we have led this pathway for you that
Mhm.
isn't working for any of us, by the way, or for most of us, by the way.
Yeah.
So thanks for taking it there. Thanks for taking it
Yeah.
there. I'm going to ask you to put your marketing hat on for a hot second.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You and I both know that even though you gave Alabama A&M University a 9 out of 10, and I'm sure it is very well deserved, as a collective, HBCUs don't always have the best image. As a marketing major, what are I'm not going to say top three, what is the one thing that you think HBCUs could work on to better that image?
Um. I think I'd probably say our how organized we are with our financial aid. I'm gonna say that. I'll say that, and I only say that because I think a lot of problems tend to stem because there's a lack of organization at during financial aid process, and when it comes to the financial aids office, then it stems into the housing issues, then it stems
Mm.
into meal plans. It just stem a lot of
It
stuff
just
tend to
keeps
stem.
trickling.
Yeah, trick small things. And so I think just more organizations, because I know my sister, she went to Grambling and she had the same issue with their and I know that tends to be, I have a lot of other friends at different HBCUs, and they tend to tell me, financially is not the best. But again, like I said, we have to see the try in it. But I think there just needs to be better organization or better communication about something, or better communication about it. I don't think an email is always just going to be the best. I know with my school, we do commercials, and so I mean, a commercial about financial aid, we could flip that and really make that something more appealing to the audience, to where they pay attention when they're giving out information about it. I think something like that could definitely help with the image. I think, yeah.
I love it. I love it. How How open do you think HBCU can? And you'll notice I'm not asking just about Alabama A&M University, and
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you actually have touch points at other HBCUs. So we all talk. Chances are you
Yeah.
talk with each other. How open do you think our HBCUs are in hearing things like that and doing something about it? Because what you've described is systemic disorganization
Hmm.
stemming from financial aid that then has almost like a domino effect into other experiences that a college student will go through at an HBCU. How open do you think college campuses are to just hearing it without hearing it defensively? How do you feel encouraged to share what you really think about your experiences as students at HBCUs?
Definitely. I've been fortunate enough with working with the department. I've been able to sit in on one of the like board of trustees meeting, and where they go
Nice.
through the different stuff like that. And so our current SGA president, Maya Gibbs, she was able to talk about some of the issues, or some of the stuff that was going on with with the student life. And so I
Absolutely.
definitely know they're willing to listen to us. One of the things that just kind of crossed my mind as you were talking about it is just we have to also remember, and I'm just saying that for myself too, that a lot of the HBCUs are, I think, aren't they like land grants, or like federally funded. And so
Federally
I
funded
don't
for most of them.
and so I think that the government doesn't like an HBCU, and so I think, because unfortunately they don't care too much to give us the resources that we need, us as a community, we're doing the best that we can. Why? Yeah. So I feel like they're doing what they can, but I think they would still be open to hear our thoughts, and I think they're still actively trying to improve it. I just don't think it's being voiced that it's trying to be improved. And so when you don't hear it, when someone, understanding and perspective is something we all have to love, because
Absolutely.
when you only have your one side of the story, you're you create idea about the HBCU. And so it's just like, I think if the HBCUs did better with voicing, like, hey, we hear your concerns about this, that, and the third.
Yeah,
This is what we're trying to do. That way we can have an understanding. And like you said, I think people would be a little bit more sympathetic to their critiques or anything like that.
absolutely. Absolutely. Um you're a trooper. You're a trooper. You have taken every single question and you've answered it, I'm going to say, as honestly as you can.
Oh
And I
yeah.
appreciate that. What is your biggest hope for HBCUs, or your HBCU particularly? Like, what gives you hope when you think about, I'm graduating soon? This is my hope for the next generation that's going to be coming in after me at this HBCU or at HBCUs.
Um, this is more so for the students that attend the HBCUs. It's just my hope, my prayer that they don't get too caught up in the party life of an HBCU that and what an HBCU can bring, because by the time they hit junior year, senior year, um, they're still trying to party, and I'm like, we got to get up out of here and make a difference. And so, it's just you enjoy your time here, but just make sure you know how to balance your work ethic, and why you are here. A lot that's so cliche, but it's just like we are here for an education. Don't waste your mother's money because you're partying. Yeah.
I was not, Tony, I was not expecting that. Listen,
Oh,
not that I can anticipate anybody's responses, but I
yeah.
was not expecting that the hope was, or the hope is, for those who are currently there, calm down on the party life, especially as you are transitioning into leaving. I was not
Yeah.
expecting that.
Yeah, I think for myself, I know junior and senior year, a lot of times people go through the pro process, and a lot of stuff tends to happen your junior senior year. But we have to also remember, I'm only saying this because I am a junior, and since I'm getting closer to the real world, it's like, oh snap. And so it's just like, since I'm getting to that point, I know a lot of people who might not be at that point just yet, and they're juniors, seniors about to graduate. And so it's just
Yeah.
like, I want to make sure that we all just make sure we transition we transition smoothly into this next part of our lives, because we don't want to feel like a handicap to our parents. We don't want to feel like, oh, now we peaked at college and we can't do more, because sky's the limit. We can do a lot of things. And
Mm,
so just making sure, if you start to transition now, when you get out, it won't be as rough.
I love it. College is not your peak. I had to write that down.
Yeah.
There's just the sky's the limit, and there's just so much more after college. Tony, this has been an amazing conversation.
Yes.
Is there something that I should have asked you, or I should have brought up that I haven't, that you're like, wait, I've got to get this out before we stop recording? What would it
Oh,
be?
okay. So the illustrious Alabama A&M University is coming up on our 150th school year, and so shout out to us. Shout out to William Hooper Council for all of his contributions to this foundation. Start here and go anywhere. Love my mom. Shout out to you, Miss Annette Herring.
I love it.
Yeah, and yeah, that's all. That's
I
all I
love it.
got.
I think it is impossible for anyone to come stumble upon the podcast or intentionally listen and not love this episode because of Toni Herring. And it's impossible also for them not to go ahead and subscribe. She literally just gave Alabama A&M University a 9 out of 10 rating, which is
Yes.
amazing. So end our episode, Toni, by telling me in one word or short phrase why you love HBCUs.
I love HBCUs because, dang, why do I love it?
She's like, why do I love it?
Ah, dang, I should have thought about that. Give me a second. Sorry.
Take your
Oh,
time.
what do I want to say? We are just, honestly, we really are a big family at an HBCU. You can be at the courtyard or the quad, and you don't even know nobody, and y'all start dancing with each other. It's a great time at an HBCU. So shout out to the community. Yeah, that's what I'll say for
You know the
HBCU.
only thing I've missed during this entire episode? Can you
Mm-hmm.
guess what it is?
What?
Toni, you didn't break out in song.
Ah, I sure didn't.
You didn't.
I have to save that for another time, unfortunately.
And there you have it. Yours in HBCU love. See you next episode. Toni, thank you so much.
Of course, thank you.
You've been listening to I Love My HBCU question mark. Let's keep the conversation going as we share our stories and encourage more practical support of HBCUs, whilst of course holding each other accountable. Don't forget to follow and subscribe for the latest episodes. Until next time, love and lift your HBCU.